Hi, everybody. It's Sam Bennett from theorganizedartistcompany.com, and welcome to this, our sort of first Zoom presentation around websites. I've never really offered anything like this before, and thanks to my friend Josh Van Dyke, I had the opportunity to create some new material for you and create some new training. So I think it's super timely. You wrote in a ton of super great questions and comments and things that were keeping you stuck and things that concerned you. This is Chester. He's not concerned about his website at all. Say hi, Chester.
Mm-hmm.
And he never procrastinates. It's never a problem. Oh, there's some other kitties. Hi. It's nice that we have our full staff. Good. And this is my friend Josh Van Dyke. Say hi, Josh.
Hey guys, how is everyone doing?
Good. People look good. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. So you're all muted right now. If you want to unmute yourself, you're welcome to do that. If you've got something urgent, or you can put it in the chat. And I'd like to start with the way that I like to start everything, with a little bit of breathing, because I don't know about you, but I've had a bit of a morning. So let's center in for a second. Let's take a moment to notice and appreciate this moment in time, this precious moment in our lives. And if you want to give yourself a little Mona Lisa smile, if you want to let your belly go really soft, and we'll inhale for 4, hold for 7, and exhale for 8, and we'll do that 3 times. So loosen your hands. Loosen your thoughts. And you ready? Let's inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, thank you for doing that with me. That feels much better. So this is an additional training, and we created it as part of the Turn Your Wisdom into Workshops course, but it's available to anyone. And I'm delighted to introduce my friend Josh Van Dyke. Now, for those of you some of you, we've talked a lot about networking in the last couple months and reaching out to people. And if you've ever, Josh maybe did the best job of this of anybody I've ever known. We were at an event, I was speaking at an event, and he comes up to me after the event and he goes, "Hi, my name is Josh. I think you and I need to talk." Okay. And he says, because first of all, we know all the same people. And he listed off all these mutual friends we have. He's like, and I think if I understand what you do correctly, and then he sort of named, he's like, I think you work with creatives who are stuck and not getting their creativity out in the world. And I'm like, that's exactly what I do. And that's such a better way to say it. He's like, right. So I help people with websites. I think we should talk. And I'm like, I think so too. So, and out of that fabulous introduction, a friendship was born. So I'm going to mostly let Josh drive on this, but he speaks tech, but he also speaks artist. He's a musician, he's a dad, he's an artist. His brother is a coach and a psychic and a channeler. And did I ever tell you this? Jeffrey busted me so hard one time at an event. He comes over to me. I'm like a speaker, I'm like a VIP at this event. And he comes over to me at one point, he goes, "Look, Bennett, you know you're psychic. I know you're psychic. Everybody in this room knows you're psychic. Start giving it up." Like, Jeffrey, we don't talk about it like that in my family. We just call it an intuition.
Yeah, that's called a Jeffrey drive-by, where he just goes and then just unloads on you real quick. So
it was great. It was a very liberating moment for me, actually.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
So can you share your screen from co-host, Josh, or do I need to make you a co-host? Can you see? Click on the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, let me do it a second here.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so let me share my screen here, get a couple things up and going. And can you guys see my screen?
Just type in yes into the chat if you can, or just nod. We can see some of you. Yep. Okay, good.
Perfect. So I'd like to, first off, thank everybody for attending. I mean, this is a really great privilege for me to be able to work with Sam. I think that there's a lot of areas in which Shore can help, the tribe here. And I think, this is gonna be a really great learning experience for everybody. We also have some freebies to give away as well. But one of the things that Shore does is we do a few different things for people to help get their message out into the world, okay? And turn some of that, allow you to get some visibility and turn that into customers. So I'll give you the short brief on Shore. We're an international company. We have 7 offices throughout the world. We have about 300 employees. Our headquarters is in Munich, but I work in our LA office. And, we saw, one of the problems we saw is that small and medium-sized businesses and a lot of solo entrepreneurs, they just lack a lot of that unused, technology out there. So we want to be able to make it available to them at a cost-effective rate so that they can start really crushing it in their line. And we basically do 3 things. One is we do websites. We also have a software for online booking and marketing. We also build mobile apps. Let's start by talking about websites. First off, a question I ask people a lot is, if some people don't have a website maybe that are on this call, but if you do you have a website or do you have the right website? And, consumers actually will make that decision upon going to your site within a few seconds, within 10 seconds of whether or not they're going to do business with you. Sam and I talked about this, like you'll go on Yelp and you'll be like, I need to look up a restaurant for tonight, okay? And so you'll type in what it is you're looking to eat and you'll click through to their site because they had some decent reviews and their site looked horrible. And you're like, oh man, I'm not going to eat there. And you clicked out on their site. Now that site had nothing to do with like the service of the restaurant or how their food tasted, but he made that decision based off their website. And now we're talking about a $20 entree, which, you as creatives, I'm sure you're selling products that are a lot higher cost than $20, oftentimes thousands of dollars. So does that website, is your current website, is it helping or is it hurting your business?
And actually, Josh, I think that's a great analogy is the restaurant, because really the word that comes to mind for me is appetizing.
Yeah, for sure.
Website look appetizing. It doesn't need to tell everybody everything about everything you've ever done, but does it entice people a little bit? Does it romance them? Does it make them feel like, oh, I think I'd like to know more about this person, or oh, I think this would be a good fit. And even more importantly, does it tell the people who are not your ideal clients, like, oh, actually, this isn't really what I was looking for.
Right.
Right. So, and just to give you guys some context around this, obviously Josh works for Shore. Shore has some amazing access to technology, and you're going to have an opportunity to buy something if you want it later. But if you don't, that's not really why we're here. We're really to talk about website design and development in the context of what Shore does. So why is Shore the way it is? So even if you're not interested in buying any services, you can start to look at your own website through critical eyes and go, oh, I see. Does it do this? Does it do this? Oh, it's not really important that it does that. Like you can start to measure things out. So don't feel like, oh, wait, this is some big weird pitch thing. It's not. Believe me, you'll have an opportunity to buy something, but but that's not really why we're here. We're really here for the training. And your guys' questions were so interesting. There were so many questions about, should it be HTML? Somebody even wrote in a question about Flash. I'm like, do people even still have Flash websites? Like,
right.
I didn't realize that was still a thing. Does it have to be mobile? Do I need video? What's up with SEO? How do I get seen? What do I say? There's not enough images. Mine is old. Mine's not working. My website designer held mine hostage and now I can't get to it. And I think, and the feeling from a lot of the questions you guys wrote was like, this is all so confusing. I'm not even dealing with it right now.
Totally.
This is also overwhelming. There's so many things to be fixed. I don't even know where to start with the technology. I'm just going to go over here and pay attention to something else. And that's a completely understandable reaction. You can forgive yourself for having that reaction. That's a completely understandable reaction. But the fact of the matter is the technology is not actually as complicated as you think it is. And once you make a few key decisions, and Josh is going to walk you through those, it all gets a lot simpler. And not having a website at all, or like in the case of the yucky website, the yucky restaurant website, having a yucky website is actually it's you swatting money away. No, get that money away from me. Stop it. Don't find me. So I don't want you to swat money away from you. I want you to joyfully accept money and success and fans and friends and colleagues and partners. So, and your website is one of the most important ways to do that. So yes, so this question, do you have a website and do you have the right website? So how do we know if we have the right website, Josh?
So let's talk about a few trends. And, it was actually funny when you were talking about this, it brought up something that Suzanne Evans said to me once, which is there is no neutral. Okay. Mm-hmm. And, when I think about a website and having it be, is there neutral, is there not? A bad website gets clicked out of right away. You go to it, you're like, ooh, and you click out right away. An okay website, you just leave it open a little longer. It's not really speaking to you. It's not really invoking a way to move forward. All right. So you go back to whatever reviews or go back to your search engine and look at 3 or 4 others. And within those 3 or 4 others, you find a great website that speaks directly to you. And, you say, that's me. I need this service. And I click through. Right. So there is no neutral. A bad site gets clicked out of right away. An okay site just gets clicked out a minute later. Okay. So let's talk about some of the trends that we're seeing in web design. One of which is screen-to-screen images. So an image that goes all the way from one side to another, okay? A lot of times in older website designs, you'd have just a box here with an image and then a bunch of white space over here and over here as well, okay? So we want to have a screen-to-screen image. We also want to be able to scroll down. And the one reason we want to be able to scroll down is because people are so used to doing that in a mobile version. When you are on Facebook or you're on Instagram or whatever, what are you doing? You're doing this the whole time. You're scrolling down. So, we want to be able to scroll down, see some of what you're doing. We don't want it to be too overwhelming, right? But we want it to look really sharp and really clean and really modern. Maybe have some testimonials in there, right? Whatnot. This is, one of our clients, Anna. She's a coach. She does hand analysis. She also does like a lot with painting, as you can kind of see with her cool image that she has on the front. But we work with a lot of different kind of solo entrepreneurs that also sometimes wear a few different hats. I want to show this one, Cali Dream Wellness. She's actually a chiropractor, is her main job, but she also does, she does chiropractic care, but she also does yoga, like in therapy dance parties. She does hand analysis. She does aromatherapy treatments, spa consulting. So we also work with a lot of people and we help them kind of organize that business plan, that model together and say, all right, what are some of the tabs? What are some of the pages? What are some of the things you want to talk about, right? So we want to make sure that it really meets their needs.
Oh, this is so good because I know so many of you, just in these 2 sites that we've seen so far, I know that a lot of you think like, oh, I can't have a website because I'm too weird. Like, how would I express what I do because it's so weird and out there? Well, Anna's site says, I'm passionate, I'm out there, I'm different, right?
Yep.
In a way that doesn't seem frightening, it seems super cool.
Right.
And I know a lot of you are like, oh, I don't even know why I put on a website because I do this and I do that and I do this and I do that because you guys have a jillion skills and talents. And
you're artists.
But see how through the design, you're artists, right? Exactly. Yeah. But through the design of this Cali Dream Wellness page, the container is set to say, look, we're about healing and well-being. Here's the credentials, right? I'm a doctor. Yeah. And then here are the ways in which we go about that healing. Yeah. So it doesn't feel like, oh, wait, she does a million different things. I'm unclear. It's like, oh, no, I see. She's about healing and wellness. The colors tell me that. The images tell me that. Her picture tells me that. And then here are these different ways in which I can work with her if I'm interested.
It's a holistic approach, right? This person's dealing with wellness in a whole variety of ways. And like you're saying, this allows people to see that so it doesn't look all disjointed, right? And, you know, I'll show you another one, conscious discovery here. I think this looks really sharp, a really nice picture of her. She does a lot of, you know, self-awareness coaching. But as you kind of scroll down, she's got some nice watermark images. So there's not a bunch of white space. She has her little, you know, email sign up here where she can get her lead gen on. And you kind of scroll down and there's like a little goofy picture of her and her business partner, right? So a little bit like, what's my personality? I don't want it to be too serious on the whole page, right? So like a nice picture of her and her business partner, talks a little bit more about them. But again, the site is still really clean, really easy to navigate. The tabs stay with you as you scroll down. You know, talks about has some nice things that, you know, they're doing, those kind of animations that pop up as you scroll through them. You know, different animations that are scrolling through here that are coming across the screen. And these are the difference between, I mean, our sites, you're working one-on-one with a website designer, right? So that's the difference between something that's drag and drop and looks like you kind of built it yourself, and something that's really professional, but also speaks your voice, right? So, you know, I think that's, you know, really important. Another thing is, you know, I saw one of the questions that said, I have almost too much content. I almost have way too much to say, and I just threw it all onto this site that I built on my own, and now it looks, it just doesn't look good, all right? So, you know, one of the things you may want to also consider is, you know, having a site that has some video in it. Okay, this is one for a wellness spa that we did recently. Now this video is a little bit more professionally shot, professionally edited, but even a video where you're just talking literally into your phone, which I'll give you an example of here. This is one for Distant Glamour we did. She does actually, she's a consultant. She does like hair and makeup and different things like that. And really this video is pretty much just her talking, right? Now the difference is we do fully embedded videos, and here's what I mean by that. Have you ever been to a site where all you see is the little YouTube square, and it has like the press play button, and it has like the thumbnail of the person going like this? Okay, so instead, people don't click on that video. Instead, this video is actually running on a loop without volume, so you don't hear any volume, okay, unless I press play. If I press play here, then I get the volume. But this way, it's running on a loop, it's going, and it's constantly going as long as I'm on this site. People will stay on a site twice as long, all right, if there is a video on it, all right? If they're on your site longer, they're more likely to do what? Click through, right? Click through and join your mailing list. Click through and sign up for your new program. Whatever it is that you want to entice them to do. Okay?
It also makes a big difference in your search engine rankings, right? When people are looking for you, because Google knows how long people are visiting your site. Yep. And if somebody's there for 2 or 3 minutes or 5 or 10 minutes, they go, oh, this must be a really sticky site. This must have some really great content on it. If people are staying for such a long time, we'll move this site up in the rankings because it clearly is so valuable for people.
Yeah, I mean, completely. And by the way, most people don't know this, but 60 seconds to 120 seconds on a website is an eternity in the website world, okay? So you want to have, like when we talked about, is the site appetizing? Does it invoke a feeling? So you want to have two things. You want to make sure you have your content on there, whether some of that, of course, you want in text form so that Google can help find you based on your keywords, all right? But we also, having a video is a great way to have some more content without having so much text on the page, okay? And if we can keep people on the site for 60 seconds, it not only helps your Google rankings, but it also, it helps you and your brand and your business and people that are interested in you. So I think that's really, really important.
I'm really noticing, Josh, too, how engaging and interactive these sites are. Like even just being able to see her as she's talking, like you really get a sense of this woman's energy and, her humor and her professionalism. And like, I feel like she's a friend. Like, I feel like, oh, this is right. So now we're building trust and authenticity. She seems like an expert. And this is just from watching a video with no sound.
Yeah, exactly.
Having it play. And even like we were seeing before, some of those animations sliding in, or the things that you know, as your mouse moves over it, they grow or shrink, or some of the animation, like it's very engaging. And this is, I think, really what we're seeing with websites more and more is that it's not a one-way communication.
Yep.
It's interactive, right?
I'll show you another one.
Here's me. It's like, it's you inviting people in to have a conversation with you.
This one we just recently did for like a holistic practitioner. He does a lot of holistic services, some chiropractic services. And, you know, I think, again, the site looks really professional. All right. And has some different click-throughs and different things like this. Okay. And as you scroll down again, it's got some nice video integration. And this is actually what's called a GIF. It's just a short video that's playing in a loop again. But again, it makes the site really kind of come to life, right? I mean, that looks really neat. And, you know, it has his like subscribe to our newsletter, his kind of call to action, again, some different animations, a booking feature where, you know, people can book time with this person, which we'll talk about later, all right, and whatnot. And then on any site, by the way, you can also just kind of see, how does it look mobilely? The biggest trend we're seeing in website surfing is actually on cell phones, okay? So if I right-click on a site and I go to inspect, I can actually see what the site will look like on a mobile version. So here is, let me scroll to the top here. We can actually see the mobile version of the site, right? So the different things that they do, so it looks really clean, still has the video, right, where we can learn more. Short description, enticing people to learn more. So the mobile version also looks really important. Now, about 2 years ago, Google actually decided, hey, we're going to knock you down in the search rankings if you don't have a mobile version of your site. Okay? So if your site is not mobile friendly 100%, then we're actually going to knock you down in the rankings. So we want to make sure not only do you have a great site that looks great online through your PC or through your Mac, but also on your phone, okay? So I think that's really, really, really important.
We've got a good question here, Josh, about what's a good balance between images, videos, and written content? Do you have a ratio for that, or it just kind of depends on the person?
Honestly, I think it does depend a little bit on the person, but I think that you should definitely have images on every page, every single page. When I click through to a different page, there should be a new image there. Something, again, that re-engages me, something that is striking, something that looks cool, okay? And, you know, the text, a lot of text is around not only explaining what you do so the right person finds you, and also so that the wrong person knows this isn't for me, but that, you know, you are allowed, basically on each page, you want to have 1 to 3 keywords. So this has to deal with what's called search engine optimization, or SEO, and this is your Google ranking, okay? So how does Google find you? When someone types in health and nutrition in LA or Detroit or wherever you're sitting, wherever your business is, or they type in weight loss, or they type in, you know, whatever it is, holistic practitioner, whatever it is that you are focusing on, you want to have some text there to be able to go ahead and, you know, so that Google can find you. So we also do the SEO on your site. So one of the questions that, you know, I saw that you guys wrote in was talking about like, hey, I'm just not getting enough people finding me on my site. And that can do with a lot of different things. That could do with, you know, do you have the right dialogue in there? Do you have keywords on each page? Are they linked on the back end of your site? We do all of that for you. We do all of the SEO work for you to link in the link in the keywords on the back end of your site. Okay. We also do backlinking, so we can link to any social media that you have, which I think is really important because you want to link back and forth, because people coming from your Facebook page onto your website, that's just another hit to your site. Okay. That's more traffic to your site. It increases your Google ranking. You know, the pictures, we buy pictures for you, okay? But if at some point you get some professional pictures taken, we would love to use those, because that also helps a little bit on your Google ranking, and videos definitely help on your Google ranking, okay? So I think that, you'll find the balance, and your web designer will also help you find that balance.
So
Okay.
I want to say something though about web designers and about SEO, because here's what I've noticed, and here's what a lot of my entrepreneurial friends struggle with. It's like there's web designers who know how to make a beautiful site. They make it, but oftentimes it's very beautiful, but it's not very functional.
Right.
Like you look at it and you're like, okay, this is gorgeous, but I can't tell what to do or where I'm supposed to click or who this, like, it's pretty, but so what? It doesn't really work. And then there's people who are great marketers, but they're not really so pretty, so they've got stuff that's, those are those kind of junky websites where it's perfectly obvious what they're selling and who they're selling it to, but
it doesn't look nice.
It doesn't look nice. It doesn't feel good.
It's not appetizing, as we talked about earlier.
It's not appetizing, right? Exactly. And then there's the other part of it, the sort of hidden marketing part of it. There's the marketing part of it of, does it look nice? But then there's the hidden marketing part of it, which is, how does your website talk to Google? How does your content start to help you rank and establish you as an expert? And you may notice that I have never once taught anything about SEO, partly because most of you guys are just starting out, and so it's just a whole nother thing to worry about that you can worry about later, but also because it's a huge thing and the rules change all the time, and really you want an expert to do it. Like, you don't really want to be in charge of your own SEO. It's not a good idea. You really want somebody else to handle it for you. So whether it's Shore and Josh or somebody else entirely, but get some, once your site is happening, make sure you get some good help with your SEO, because it'll make a big difference in your bottom line if you're doing it properly.
For sure. And one of the things actually that I'll say this, that you can't control, but you kind of can if you don't have a website yet, which is Google also looks at how long has your site been in existence. So if you have a really horrible site, but it's been around a long time, that actually helps you, right? That your site's been online for several years, even though it looks not appealing at all. So we can do the redesign of your site, make it look appealing. And now you might be saying, well, I don't have a website yet. Well, that's a great reason to get started.
The page and domain thing really does matter. So those of you who are like, oh, my old website's so crappy, I just want to build a new one. No, build a new one at the old domain address. Yeah. Don't change your domain name if you can possibly help it.
Yeah, keep your domain name. So I want to address a couple of questions that came up. One of which was, hey, I've struggled to find the right person, the right designer. And, I talked to Sam about this, which is, even when we first met, I was like, we're perfect for you because, my brother being a coach, I work in tech, but I'm also understand, how coaches work and how healers work and how artists work. I was a singer in a jazz band for years. So I definitely have that side of the brain going on. And, our designers have worked because of, I have a lot of clients that are on that artistic side, have worked with a lot of artists. Okay. So finding the right web designer is challenging. We've done a lot of work with a lot of artists, a lot of coaches, a lot of healers, whatnot. Okay. So we can speak that language. Also, the right person, we have over a half a dozen designers on staff. Okay. So oftentimes what happens is with web designers, they get really overwhelmed because they're a solo person. They're just a solo entrepreneur trying to get websites built for people, right? And then you get signed up with them, you pay them a ton of money up front, and then nothing kind of happens, okay? And it's because they're overwhelmed. So we have, we're a company of, like I said, about 300 employees. Just in our LA office alone, we have tons of designers. And, I think that's really important. And, if your personalized designer is out that day because they're sick and you need something changed, we have a whole team of people that can, make that change for you within 24 to 48 hours. Okay.
And that's so important to have a team like that, because yeah, exactly. If somebody has a crisis in their life, or somebody gets sick, or they go on vacation or whatever, and all of a sudden your business is, stop dead. Or like a lot of you do, like, oh, my nephew's friend will do it for me.
Right.
Well, your nephew's friend is probably in college and probably is busy and only has some skills.
Right.
You get 10 designers, they can pretty much do everything. You get one designer, you're only going to be able to get what that one designer can do.
And that's an interesting point, Sam, you brought up. Oh, my nephew does this, or my brother-in-law can do it, my family member. I think this is really important, and most people don't see it this way, but your business is your number one priority, right? It's your livelihood. It's the way you bring in money. It's the way you live, okay? So is your website that you had your nephew do, who's in college full time and, you know, has a part-time job, is that his number one priority? Probably not. So even once it's built, when you want a change done, it's going to take 2-3 weeks because it's not their number one priority. Their exam coming up and their job and their party that they have going on is their number one priority. So you need to take your business and make it your number one priority. And I think the way you do that is by having, you know, a team on your side. Okay. So I want to address kind of 3 things that separate Shore from other people. So you might want to write this down if you're taking notes. First off is web designers typically charge you a huge front-end fee. Okay, that's the number one thing. Oftentimes that's around $2,500 to $4,000, could be way higher, 10, 20, or 30 grand. But a lot of web designers are easily going to charge you $3,000 to $4,000 up front. Why? Because that's where all their work is. They put in 60, 70, 80 hours of work on the front end, designing your site, building it out, making changes until it's the way you want it to look, right? We recognize Shore doesn't work with huge conglomerates. For the most part, we work with solo entrepreneurs. So we know that for a solo entrepreneur or artist to, you know, put up $4,000 on the front end just to get the design work started, it's just probably not going to happen, or it's a poor allocation of their resources. So we don't have any upfront design fee. We simply have a monthly fee. So it's a small monthly fee, and I'll cover what that costs a little bit later. Okay, so that's a big burden that's lifted from the shoulders and allows you to get something that's really stunning built, but at the price of an entrepreneur, you know, where they can afford it.
And let's look at some of those, what some of those upfront costs are. So if somebody's not working with Shore, but they want to get a decent website design, so we're looking at, let's say conservatively, $3,000 upfront.
Yep.
And really, if your website designer isn't charging you $3,000, they're probably not a very good web designer.
Yeah, if they're charging you $1,000, your site's going to look horrible.
Yeah. So let's say it's probably going to be closer to 5, but let's just say it's 3. And for just to get the design done, hosting's usually around $10 to $15 a month, depending on where you go with. You can find some places maybe a little cheaper, but like GoDaddy's $14.99 a month. Okay, so we'll call that $150 a month.
And that's to host your site, but you also have to host your domain name.
Right.
Which, you know, buying the domain's a few bucks, but it's also another cost, you know, every year is probably another $15, $16 every year to host the domain name.
Right.
And then I would say the biggest ongoing cost is going to be your changes and updates. Okay. When you want your designer to log into your site on the back end and make a change, whether that's a price change or whether that's a misspelled word you found, it's usually $150 to $200 an hour. And that's even when it's just like, oh, can you change this one word? And you know it's only going to take them 15 seconds. They're going to charge you a minimum fee, right? So, you know, those are some of the largest costs right there, I would say.
Yeah, so we're looking at between $5,000 and $10,000 for the first year just to get the thing up and going.
You got it.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So, just so you guys know, it's an investment. I mean, you can do, so somebody's bringing up Wix. I sometimes use Weebly and stuff for sales pages. There's definitely free ways to do it, but it's going to look like a free site. If you're okay with it, then.
I mean, there's a lot of sites that people build themselves and they look like they built it themselves. Right. And so again, we talked about, you want to have content on your site, but you want to have a site that invokes you to move forward, right? It says, oh, this is speaking directly to me and I need this, right? So
I also heard that Wix particularly isn't indexed for Google. Like it's really hard to get ranked to have a Wix site.
Correct. Yeah. If you have a Wix site, the way their back end of their website builder works, we build all of our sites on WordPress, which is what 85% of websites out there are built on.
Google loves WordPress.
And Google loves WordPress. So, you know, that's why we build them on WordPress, right? So it really helps your SEO to have a WordPress site instead of one of the other drag and drop type of things like a Wix or a GoDaddy or whoever. Mm-hmm. So back to the quick 3 things. One is, like I said, we have no upfront design fee. The second thing, which we talked about, your next biggest cost is your ongoing changes and updates. Okay, someone to maintain the site and make changes to it. We don't charge anything for that. Okay, that's included in the monthly fee. So let's say, I'm a coach and I'm running a mastermind course. I want people to know about it. Or maybe I wrote a new book, all right, and I want people to know about my book, all right? Or I want some neat pop-up to come up for people to sign up onto my mailing list. Whatever the case may be, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to be able to call my designer, text my designer, email my designer. I'm going to have a direct line right to them where I can say, hey, can you have a little promotion going up? I'm going to do this thing for the next 30 days where it's going to be the, mind cleanse 30-day challenge. And I want people to sign up for it. Can you have a little pop-up that comes up at, after someone's been on the site for, 10 seconds? We can do that.
Or I'm a musician and I've got gigs coming up. Like, here's my East Coast tour dates and here's my, and I had to cover my face in shame because I have website embarrassment. My website is a mess. And you guys don't know this because you haven't been to my website. And I know this because nobody goes to my website. I don't know how people find me, but it's not through my website. Really, I did it on WordPress like a bunch of years ago. I kind of did it myself, and then I had somebody tweak the design a little bit. But it's an old, clunky mess. There's a million pages on there. It's not very easy to use. And I published a book in November. You would not know this looking at my website. Like, this is a big, like, I got featured in Self Magazine, Psychology Today, like all these big media things. The site is not, but nobody would know.
We'll help you, Sam.
Thank you, Josh.
It's actually funny. Beth Davis.
I do.
And Beth is a big coach. She does a lot in the hand analysis world, and her websites were horrible. And I'm friends with her, and she's like, "All right, I'm gonna have you guys build me a site because it's it's all over the board right now, and I just need you guys to do this for me." So so we
and Beth's a tough cookie. Beth doesn't play around. She's a serious girl. She's not shy about her opinions. She will tell you if she didn't like something.
Yeah, ask.
If you can make Beth Davis happy.
I'm aware.
I love her. I'm actually gonna have her do an expert call, I think, this year because I love her so much.
So, we do all those changes and updates for you. You want to change your events, where you're speaking, where you're playing, where you're doing whatever, even if it's just a simple change, we do that for you. Okay. So, one of the things we wanted to do, and one of the questions I saw that kind of came up a lot in here was, there was just so many options, so much different advice I was getting, so much this, so much that. Okay. And that's where I think Shore comes in. One is it becomes overwhelming. Like, oh, I need to buy the domain, and then I have to have my domain hosted, but I also have to have my site hosted, and I need someone to design it, and I need someone to make the changes and updates, and I need someone to update the WordPress, like the little plugins that are happening, and I need blah, blah, blah. And there's a lot going on there. Well, we do all of those things. Okay. So if you don't have a site at all right, we'll buy the domain name for you. It doesn't cost you anything. We'll host the site for you, the domain and the web hosting. We'll do all the design work. We do all the changes, all the updates. We update all the back-end WordPress stuff, okay? So
I get those emails all the time of like, oh, there's a security risk here. You've got to update this. And I'm like, what is that? Do I do that?
Right.
Should I ignore that? What is that?
Should I click on this? I don't know, right?
What is that? Yeah.
So we give you logins to the back end, but not to the design aspect of it. So you can't screw something up on the site and then call us and say, I screwed something up big time, right? So you can make some simple changes on the back end, but most people, and we realize this, solo entrepreneurs, they're wearing a lot of hats, right? You're in business for yourself, you wear a lot of hats. So you're in charge of the marketing, you're in charge of the analysis, you're in charge of the programming, you're in charge of everything. So to have somebody that you can just text and say, hey, I just had this new video of this concert we were doing, I was playing here, could you upload that? All right, or I was speaking at this event, could you upload that video? Or hey, my new book is coming out, can we design a little page around that, right? So we do all of that for you, which saves you a tremendous amount of time and headaches. Minor updates are made within 24 to 48 hours, but if it's during business hours, if you call in, they'll usually just change it right on the spot and tell you to refresh the page, which is pretty impressive on a customer service level. And if you want us to build out a new lead page for you, we can do that for you as well, okay? So let's say you want to have, again, you're talking about, a book that's coming out and you want to start promoting that, or a new course that you're going to run that you want people to sign up for. All right. So it could be the DOS group / whatever it is. Okay. Spirit of Abundance book, whatever. Okay. Or whatever it is we want people to sign up for. We can make that page and not have it, viewable on your main site. Okay, so it's its own independent lead gathering page. Okay, and the designer will design that for you, get your thoughts and edits on it, and go back and forth until it's perfect, and then you'll have your own lead page, and that might change every month or every quarter. So that's another thing that we do that doesn't cost you anything. Okay, so I think that's really important because that can save you some money.
And for those of you playing along at home, again, what you want to be adding to your list of things to do is, do I have a way to strategically update my website every week or every month? Because again, when your website's dynamic, when you're constantly adding new content, Google likes that because it says, oh, this thing's alive, right? So even if you're not going to have Josh and Shore do it, are you getting your site regularly updated? Are you making sure all that back-end stuff is current? Your plugins work, your pages aren't going to dead pages. And then number 2, do you have a way to make lead pages, right? We did that call with lead pages a couple of weeks ago, but do you have a way to make a standalone sales page for special events like a course or a book or a concert tour or something, so that people are just seeing that information and not your whole site when you're ready for them, when you want them to do that. So.
And, one of the kind of overwhelming themes that I saw in some of the questions, that you sent over, Sam, was I'm stuck. I'm stuck. And whether, again, so that's what we're here to do, is kind of relieve that burden and take care of all of those things for you. The only thing that we don't do is write the content for you, right? So again, and why would you want us writing your content? We don't want to write your bio, right? We don't want to write your course description. We don't want to, you need to send us that. But what we found is that once you've signed up and you're working with the designer, and the designer works with you and starts putting some ideas around what are some of the pages that you want, it gets you excited to write about those pages and the content on those pages. And again, it doesn't have to be pages of stuff, okay? But when you have a little bit of structure around what it is that you want to do, and you put it out there, and now you have the pages, the pictures, and everything, you'll be invigorated to write the content.
And once you get the project moving, like you've got somebody working on it, you're paying for it. It's like, okay, let's go. And you can see, guys, a lot of these sites don't have a ton of content.
Right.
So it's not like you need to write a whole book about it. You can write a couple of succinct paragraphs and be in good shape.
Totally. And then I want to talk about one other thing, which is, when are people online? Okay. And people actually are online most between the hours of 8 p.m. and midnight. Okay. So you think about your day, you got home from work, maybe you make some dinner or have a glass of wine. Maybe you have kids, you put them to bed. All of a sudden it's 8:30 at night. You start surfing the web. You sit down on the, maybe you turn on Netflix, but you also have your iPad out in front of you or whatever it is, right? What time do you close as a, entrepreneur, right? Well, most people, assume you'd be closed by 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. Certainly if I'm online at 11 or midnight looking for something, I'm not going to try and call you or contact you. Okay. So we want to make it available where you can actually convert those leads a little easier. And so Felicia at Conscious Discovery, she uses our booking software. Okay. So I want to hop into that because it's so much easier where someone can actually just click on making an appointment and they can book a specific time with you, and they can actually go ahead and do that right with you. And so the next day, maybe instead of them just filling out some sort of contact form where all you have is, their email address, or you try and call them, but they don't recognize the number, so they ignore the call. Really, we want to take advantage of that limited motivation. They found you. They had this motivation to change their life or look for this type of service or get this, that, or the other, and they found your site. So we want to make sure they become a monetized lead. So we give them the option to book on that page. So if we go here, you can see Conscious Discovery. They have their own page that Shore's built up for them, talking about their logo. She has like a little Let's Connect, Or I can, do a complimentary discovery session, right? Where that's 30 minutes or a 10-minute chat, okay? She also has some stuff for her private clients, people who've already, paid, a few $1,000s to maybe have 6 sessions, right? And then they can book out time with her partner, right? So it's a way for them to do that. So when we click through, we can go ahead and we can look at the different things here. And I can, if it's more than one person on staff, I can pick my staff member, okay? And then I can just confirm this selection. And then it's going to block out any time. So right now, for this upcoming week, she's only accepting calls for new potential clients on Wednesday and Thursday. Now, you might want to open up your schedule a little bit more. You might want to block it down, less. It's up to you. All right, well, let's say, okay, cool, I want to talk Thursday at 2 o'clock. I confirm my selection. And then all I have to do is enter my name here, my email address, and my phone number, okay? And then all I have to do is book an appointment. Now, I'm not going to book an appointment here because this is a real client, and booking a fake appointment with a real client would be, it's kind of a mean thing to do, so I'm not going to do that. But when we go ahead and click book appointment, we still give all the control back to the business owner. The business owner, we can have it set up where it's automatically an appointment, but most of our small business owners want to be able to have control of it. So it actually becomes an appointment request that you can either reject, accept, or suggest an alternative time, okay? So, you still have the control to accept that appointment or not. And let me show you what that looks like on our back end. So you can see you'd have your calendar all online here of the different things that you have going on. This is one we have set up for more of a coach, okay? They have different courses that they have going on. They have, corporate speaking gigs, different things like that. A conversation around booking me as a speaker, free business strategy or free discovery sessions. So depending on what it is that you offer. Now, you may also offer products that have a cost, and we can incorporate payment right into that booking as well if you'd like, okay? Where before they click book now, they have to enter their credit card information, okay? So really easy to create a new appointment. Let's say you're on the go. We have an app that has all this right on your phone. Someone says, hey, you're free to speak Wednesday at 1 o'clock. I just click on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. I type in the client's name. If they're already a client, then it'll autofill. I select what it is that they want to talk about, what it is for them, and I create the appointment.
And you can color code it. I love that.
And we can color code it based on service or, based on a couple different factors, whatever you want. And this way you have a really nice calendar. If someone needs to move their appointment, again, you can just drag it and move it, right? So however I want to do that, right? Just click move.
So that's great. I hope those of you who are like teachers and healers and code, I hope you're kind of freaking out a little bit right now of oh my gosh, somebody could just book an appointment and pay me right there on my site, and I'm getting money and getting appointments booked while I'm sleeping. That would be nice.
And in fact, a lot of requests come in after hours. So at the times that you are sleeping, because again, people are online at 11 midnight. I'm in bed by 10 because my daughter's up at 6 a.m. So
you're the youngest daughter of anybody.
Right. So, and then of course we have all of your customers in one spot in a kind of a succinct customer database, okay, where you can keep track of everyone. You can search for them by first name, last name, email, phone number, or different tags, so different groupings you put to them. So let's pull up, one of your best clients, which is me, of course. All right. I can go ahead and have a new conversation with them. I can actually start a chat with them, which I can chat back and forth with them. I can have a video call with them. I can go ahead and upload any pictures. I can see any payment history. I can see all of their kind of upcoming and past appointments. I can have a questionnaire that maybe I have them fill out at the time of booking that appears in there. I can put them into different groups that I want to niche market them to via email or text, okay? Current clients, birthdays, maybe I want to do some sort of birthday promotion. Again, I can take notes on them, had this breakthrough, try this next time. Wife's name is Amanda, daughter's name is Kaya, dog's name is Matt, personal information, okay? I can upload any files. So if you have any files that you have them sign off on, you can use this as like a document storage, any photos. A lot of people will take notes by hand while they're talking to a client, then they'll take a photo of those notes and upload them right here. Okay. So maybe they're not, you know, it depends on how they want to use the note section, or if they want to just take photos of it and upload those documents. Okay. And then, you know, we also want to make sure, you know, that people that, you know, create an appointment and that they, you know, become someone that we want to talk to, that they show up to that appointment. Okay. So under here, I have a reminder section. So there's a text reminder that goes out right before their appointment. All right. So, you know, people, they check email, but they don't do it right away. Text gets checked. 98% of all text messages are read, and 93% of all text messages are read in the first 3 minutes. Okay. So, hey, we'd like to remind you of your upcoming appointment with us, or your upcoming call with us, whatever it is. And that'll go out, we could have it go out 1 day before, and maybe 1 day and 1 hour before. Okay. Or 15 minutes before, whatever it is, right? So we can have that. Also, one of the things Beth loved is like having something that maybe goes out like 3 months or 6 months or a year later. Your customer would like to invite you to book a follow-up appointment with us, or invite you to recheck out our website for our latest products or our latest course offering, okay, and have a link into the site, okay? So something that after they've seen you and had a, you know, something with you, had an appointment, had a, you know, a call with you, to get them to revisit your site and see what's new and see what's going on with you, okay? So nice little revenue generators here, because gosh, who here's ever had it where you had a call with someone scheduled, you were super excited about this new potential prospective client, and then they no-showed you. Gosh, it's heartbreaking, right? So not only is it a loss of revenue, a loss of time, but you know, just something that's automated. Again, this isn't anything that you're going to have to do any extra work for. It's just something that you'd have that's automated for you. Okay. So, and then we also have some, you know, feedback or some opportunities to market to your clients once they become a client. We want to be able to have a newsletter section here, and it actually saves all of your old newsletters. So we can do text newsletters or email newsletters. I think a lot of people on the call might already have an email newsletter system, so I'm not going to cover that too much. But, you know, here's an example of a text one. Only 3 slots left in our mastermind course starting in 2 weeks. Book your slot now. And then also, again, all I'm doing, and this is just a text that's going to go out to everybody. I'm just typing in what I want it to say. I click to the next step. I say, okay, I want it to go out to maybe these individual people, or maybe I have specific groups I want to go ahead and have it go out to, whatever it is. And then I click to the next spot. It gives me a preview of it. Okay, so it'll say your business name there. It'll give them an opportunity to click on a phone number if you want to have a phone number there. And then it's going to say your message. And if this were a real website, it would hyperlink in where they could tap on their phone and open up your lead page or whatever it is. Okay. Really neat way to market to people. And we can even schedule that to go out at a later date if we want, right?
So again, for those of you keeping notes at home, does your site have a way for people to contact and interact with you, preferably to book and pay you? Is that clear and obvious? Do you have a way to follow up with them, preferably automatically? And you know, and do you have a way to keep track of who all your people are and what they've done with you and how you're communicating with them?
And the text one's kind of an interesting one because you can use it for promotion, but you can also kind of use it for, oh crap, which is like, I'm running 20 minutes late for whatever reason for this thing. And someone might not be checking their email for that, but they got the text, right? Or I'm sick and I have all these appointments today. I can text everybody at 7 a.m. and tell them I'll call them when I feel better, right? And reschedule later in the day or whatever it is. So, you know, for, you know, a lot of schools will use this, or churches will even use texting for some different things like that too, right? Updates about different things that are going on.
So Josh, you and I talked about going for about an hour and then doing about 15 minutes of questions, but I know some people are going to have to jump at the top of the hour.
Yep.
Why don't you tell them what the offer is?
Sure. Last thing I'll show you is we also do mobile apps. So we can also design a mobile app for you guys where we can have your booking feature in there, all your different services, whatever it is. So we also do those. So let me go ahead and just jump back into what the offer is so you guys can see what that consists of and what the costs there are. So like I said, we do really beautiful websites. All the websites go ahead and include all the design work, all the changes and updates, all the search engine optimization in a dedicated designer dedicated to you. We also have, our online booking so that when people go ahead and are on your site late at night, they can go ahead and book. And that includes all those reminders. It includes the customer database, being able to text market and email market to people, being able to accept payments online. And the third product that we do is having a mobile app, all right? So, taking advantage of, having people, seeing their phone all the time. It's great for branding for you and whatnot. You can even send push notifications out to everybody who has your app. So the goal is to get people to stay on your site, allow them to book, all right? It's the whole client life cycle. Allow them to show up to their appointment, market to them, and collect feedback and have a mobile app. So we have basically 3 different products and 3 different packages so you guys can understand that. So if you wanted just their online booking and our software, or if you just wanted a website, or if you just wanted an app, that's our starter package. You'd pick one of these 3 things. Premium would say 2 of the 3. I want a website and I want the online booking and everything like that. And then enterprise would be all 3, so everything. So let's say you're saying, I just want to get started with just the website, okay? It's typically $119 a month, okay? And it's a 12-month commitment. We don't have any startup fees, and we don't have any design fees. We don't charge you anything for any of the changes or updates. And through our partnership with Sam, we actually, anybody that comes in through the partnership gets it for $99 a month. So we give them a nice discount around 20% and discount it down to $99. So for those of you, if you remember some of the costs that we spoke of, no upfront design fees that are going to be, 2, 3, 4, 5 grand. Okay. No changes or updates for fees like that. We do all those changes and updates for free. And then, we also do all the search engine optimization included in that rate. Okay. If you said, Josh, I want to do the website, plus I would love to have the, the calendar, online booking, everything like that, we can do that. It's typically $199 a month. Through our partnership, we do it for $149 a month. So a pretty nice discount, saves someone $600 over the course of the year. And they would have that. If someone wanted to do all 3 products, they wanted to add an app in as well, it's typically $299. For us, it's $199 a month, okay, for the partnership rates. Questions on that, Sam? Did you have any questions or comments you wanted to talk about that?
Yeah, so for $1,200 to $1,800, you can have an entire site built out, all the updates, all the SEO, and one of the other things like the scheduling thing or the app.
Or the app, yep.
And tell them the thing, like if they decide at the end of the year, like, okay, that's it, I'm done.
So we have a 12-month commitment because we can't have someone pay us $99 for 1 month and then we build this just amazing website and then they go, all right, see ya, I'm out of here. All right. But at the end of 12 months, if they want to continue the service, they're grandfathered in. The rate never goes up. Even 3, 4, 5 years from now, when our prices are going up, their rate doesn't go up. They stay grandfathered in at the rate, and we do all the changes, all the updates to the site, everything for them at that rate. If they say, though, at the end of 12 months, they go, I love it, the site is awesome, but I just don't need you guys anymore, and they want to cancel, at the end of 12 months, they own the site outright. Okay, so you have a beautifully designed site. You'd own the URL if you don't own it already, and all you'd have to do is just have, GoDaddy or whoever host it for you. Okay.
So this is amazing because, again, I don't know how many of you are friends with other entrepreneurs, but I hear so many horror stories about, like, I paid these people $1 billion to build my site. They made this great thing, but now I can't get into it. I can't change anything. I can't get a hold of these people. They're holding my website hostage.
Yep.
Like, there's some shady stuff that goes on.
Those hostage stories are scary too. We have clients that have called in with those, like, they're, and we even had, God forbid, but like, we even had one client that, site was being held hostage and the person turned it into a porn website.
Oh, fab.
Really professional.
Really,
And he had to have an attorney send him a cease and desist letter in order to have that not be the case anymore.
Yeah. So again, if you're talking about booking other designers, make sure that you end up with the ownership of your site.
That's right.
Because that's what happens is they build the site, but then they own it. You don't own it; they own it.
So you own it completely outright after the end of the 12 months, because we do need some time to recoup costs, because we are running at a negative for several months, right?
But this is an amazing, so you could potentially have them build you out an entire website for $1,200.
Correct.
And you own it, and then you can do whatever. That's kind of amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. And, a lot of people stay on with us because they realize how, it becomes expensive to hire a designer to do these changes and do this thing, especially if you have things that are changing. You have, speaking events or gigs or whatever you have going on, right?
So what you guys want to do is, if this is interesting to you, just book a time with Josh. Go to theorganizederartistcompany.com/shore, SHORE, shore, because I live by the beach. No, because the business is called Shore. And that'll get you the discounted page, and you can book a time to talk with somebody. If it's not right for you, we're not going to let you buy it. But if it is right for you, you want to jump on this for sure.
That's right. And we're doing a promo for anybody who just signs up for a conversation. Okay. Again, they go to this landing page here, and they enter their information here and sign up for a free demo. I would reach out to them over the course of the next week and a half. We'd schedule a time to chat, and anybody who signs up for that and does that will be entered into a drawing for either a free mobile app or the online booking software for free. So they'd get that for free.
Good. We got, Benoit actually has to jump off, but we got some questions typed in there. So is everybody clear about how to get in touch with Josh? theorganizederartistcompany.com/shore, SHORE. And it's theorganizederartistcompany.com, all the way spelled out. Things change if I could go back in time and change things. But there you go. Okay, so Carrie asked, can you or someone be hired to do SEO or work with an already established website? There are a ton of people out there who will do your SEO for you, or will claim to do your SEO for you. And what I would say is get referrals. Get referrals, because these SEO companies, like a lot of marketing and PR firms, like they will promise you the earth. Like they will tell you that they can make magic happen, that they can do all kinds of great stuff. And the next thing you know, 8 months has gone by, you've paid them a ton of money and nothing has changed. So not everybody's like that, but this is again, the kind of horror story that I hear over and over and over and over and over again. So just make sure that you get referrals, that you're very clear about your metrics, about what the results you want to see, and about what those fees and charges are. But there are absolutely people to hire for sure. Or you can have Josh do it for $99 a month. Let's see, what else? What other questions? What do I recommend for a membership site, host, and engine? WordPress. If you have Infusionsoft, like I do, I use Membarium, which is designed specifically to connect WordPress and Infusionsoft. It works great, but there's a lot of choices out there. Let's see. On my site, I can make my written content move, dance, and sit still. To what extent should I use that kinetic capacity? Only in as much as it helps the site, right? Don't do stuff just because it's cool or flashy. Do it because it conveys the message more effectively. You do too much of it, it starts to look unprofessional. And annoying. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do it so it's not annoying. Try to not be annoying. That's my #1 business tip. Don't be annoying. Good. What other questions do you guys have? Somebody's asking if you have a site for a musician. Do you have a musician site? I don't have one up right now. I'd have to, we built. You guys can see, you can have imagination. You guys can see from what he's shown you so far how easy that would be to have some great. We build sites for everything. We're building a site for the National Autism Academy right now. We're building a site for a breast cancer awareness charity. We're building a site for a pretzel and ice cream shop right now. So, it can be all over the board. Our designers work really well, though. We've done a lot with artists. This is really attractive to me too, because, sometimes you meet a designer and they seem good and smart, but then it turns out you don't actually speak the same language, like you have trouble communicating. And the fact that you have a whole stable of people so that, if something.
Yeah, if you didn't like your designer, we could reassign you to a different person. That doesn't happen really ever or often, but it's not something we could. Yeah, definitely could. So we're not opposed to it. We want to make sure you're happy.
Good. What other questions do you guys have? Because we have Josh's expertise here for just another couple of minutes, and I want to make sure that you get your questions answered. Mary says, do you have offices in Canada? My domain is .ca. Does that matter?
That does not matter. We have many clients in Canada. I mean, we're an international company, so we have clients all over the world. We have plenty of clients in Canada, so no, that does not matter.
And like you said, the Shore's headquarters actually is in Germany.
In Munich, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of internationals on this call. So if you're thinking, oh, this is just for US, it's not. It's not. And I know in some of the other countries, like you have to have the cookies notification and there's other legal things. And again, Shore can take care of that for you because they're already an international company. They get that.
Yeah, not a problem.
Not a problem. Good. What else? Are you feeling inspired? Do you guys feel like, oh, maybe I could make my website work, or oh, maybe I could just have Josh and his team do it? Wouldn't that be exciting? But the other thing I really want to make sure we cover, because Josh and I were talking about this before we got on this session with you guys, is I want you to notice how many of the problems you think you're having with your website are actually internal.
Totally.
Their fears around visibility, their fears around getting your work out there, their fears around being judged, there's fears around doing it wrong, and we totally get that. Like, that's a very natural and understandable concern. But I think you can see that when you've got a professional by your side sort of walking you through and making sure that it's going to look great, making sure that it's going to work properly, making sure that it's usable, that you're not leaving something important out, it starts to alleviate that inner concern more. You're still going to have to, that visibility stuff, as you grow, those challenges continue.
We do a lot of hand holding. So, for people who need the hand holding, we're there. There are some people that are very directive on like Beth Davis, for example, do this, do this, do this, do this. I want it exactly like this. And there's some people that like, I need a little help. I need you to explain this again to me. Can you show me this? What are my options here? And we play a much more consultative role there. Because those people need it, and that's great. So up to you, but we're there for you if you need the hand-holding.
That's great. Scott's asking, can I keep my hosting company, domain, and blog going while Shore works on a new look?
Correct, yes. Nothing will change on your site. We're building the site out, and then we're sending you a link to see what it looks like, okay? And then you give us feedback, we make changes, and once you give us the thumbs up, it usually comes 2 or 3 times later after we've made some changes for you, we make the site live. And on the back end, that's where all of a sudden your site, when you go to that URL now, it changes the look, right? So your current site will stay the exact same way it is the whole time we're working on the new look.
And this is the other thing that's so great about Shore, is the fact that they build on WordPress gives you an almost infinite flexibility moving forward. Because that's the whole thing with WordPress, is you can change themes, you can change designs, and the actual site, the content and structure of it will stay basically the same, but you can change the look of it in a snap. So,
and if you ever left Shore, there's almost any designer worth their weight in salt would know how to change things on WordPress.
Right. That's the other thing that happens all the time, is they switch designers and your new designer is like, what is this? Like, this is going to take me 6 weeks just to untangle whatever your previous designer did, because it's a mess back there. Yeah, all that under the hood stuff. But if it's on WordPress, it's pretty universally, pretty much, then your nephew could do your updates for you if you want it. Good. I just thought of something else. Oh, and this thing, Iona says, can I make small changes myself? Yes, right?
For sure. Yeah, we can give you logins to make small changes. That doesn't affect the whole design, because again, we don't want you to log in and screw something up. But yeah, if you wanted to change something,
or put in a blog post,
or whatever it is. But again, we can also do that for you. I mean, we have a person that does a weekly blog, and they send us the blog every single week, and we post it with the pictures, and we make sure it looks formatted the right way and it's not all janky. So we do that for you too. So don't be afraid to use the resources that you have.
Great. Silver says, do you use Bootstrap or some other framework?
I mean, with the framework, I mean, we're on the WordPress, we buy all of our templates that we're using. Okay. So, I mean, there's a variety of different ones that we're using.
And it says also if it's in Danish. Do you work in other languages?
We do work in other languages, and we can also, I mean, we build tons. I mean, we're in Southern California. All of our designers speak English and Spanish, so we build a lot of sites in Spanish as well. And then we can have Google will have the auto translate if you're going from another country or based on where you're, coming to the site from.
Mm-hmm. Great. Also, this is a great, if you have a website, but you're thinking, oh, this could actually be a great transition point for me. Like I said, I've had mine for years, and I don't even know how many blog posts on there, hundreds and hundreds. And that can actually drag down your site. So if I were to get it redesigned, I would probably remove a lot of those low performing pages. I'd be able to, take a look and see which of my pages actually are doing well, and eliminate a lot of that garbage and underbrush. Just like a garden, you want to clear out the weeds so that the flowers can grow.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I forgot to mention is we also send you, included in the package is we send you a monthly Google Analytics report.
Fantastic.
So you can see how many people are coming to your site, where are they clicking from, what cities are they from, you can get a much better idea of how your site's performing and why it's performing the way it is, right?
And that's so critical. I have to tell you, Sakara just asked that question as you were answering it. Like, amazing. But getting these metrics is so important, because again, this is the kind of thing that totally falls off the radar when I'm doing it myself. And there was one time when I was having a little bit of a crisis in my life. So I was spending a lot of time crying on the couch and not a lot of time working on my business. Which happens, it happens. It happens to everybody. I happened to, I was trying to get myself together. I happened to look at my Google Analytics, and I noticed that one of my pages, the one with this poem that I wrote, that's the Ode to the Drama Teacher, which is my favorite little things I've ever written, got like 3,000 hits. Like, my site gets it gets a couple hundred hits a week. Like, seriously, no one is going to my website. So all of a sudden there was this huge spike in activity. Somebody somewhere had posted a link to this poem somewhere on Facebook or whatever, and it got a ton of traffic and beautiful people making these beautiful comments. It was lovely. And that made me go like, oh, I should turn this into a product. Like, I should make a poster of this, which I then did. But I would never have known that if I wasn't looking at my analytics. So to make sure that somebody's looking at them every week and sends them to you so you know what's going on, critical.
Yeah, and that's automated on our end. We send it out every month, so like I said, a lot of times you get bogged down. It's a great way to, have a reminder to kind of look back at your business and what's working and not. And
what the key metrics are, because Google Analytics looks at everything.
A lot, yeah.
It's really overwhelming to go back and be like, what is important here? Ilona says, what are your business hours? Maybe you said that already.
I mean, we're on the West Coast, so we are more or less 9 to 6 on Pacific time. But we have people that are staying later now and coming in earlier now just to meet the needs because we have so many East Coast clients. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, we'll make time for you if you need time outside of also standard hours.
Right. So for you internationals, we can make this work for you. Scott says, thank you. Good. Pleasure. Anybody else? I don't like to keep people longer than 75 minutes just because,
we get long.
we got work to do.
That's right.
Good. So if there's anything else, make sure just hit up Josh. Just make an appointment. Go to that website, theorganizederartistcompany.com/shore, SHORE. I'll send that out in an email as well. But book a time and talk to them and see if it's a good match. If it's not a good match, move on. If it is a good match, this is an outstanding bargain. And I'm thrilled to offer it to you. Josh, thank you so much for being such a good pal. Is there anything you wanted to add before we sign off?
I would just say, guys, I would recommend booking a time to speak with me just because you can get a little more additional clarity on some of the additional questions. Because when we end this call, you'll have a couple of questions that kind of pop up, right? So just scheduling a time for me to reach out for you, I think, is really important. And for the quality, you're not going to find a better value as far as the cost for the quality of work that we're doing. So I think, take action on your business.
Yeah, just something that looks fresh and current. And then again, as the trends change, because Short is a grillion websites, they're going to know. They're going to say like, oh, here's what's really cool, or here's what's cool, but it's not actually that cool. Like, you don't actually want that. It's trendy. But it's not.
We'll do a full redesign every 6 months if you'd like.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Amazing. Great. Well, let's do one more circle, just one more breath, just to close out this circle. Josh, again, thank you so much for your time and your expertise and for being such a great person. This is, do you charge more for making a lead page? No, they don't. No. It's all part of the design thing.
Part of the package, yeah.
It's amazing.
And there's no other funny fees, guys. The $99 a month, there isn't some starting fee and ending fee or other funny, weird fee it's just the $99 a month when you come through the partnership with Sam.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay, you ready? Let's inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much for being with me.
Thanks so much for being here. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.